Warning! Hey, dumbass! This show is called The Offenders. So if you hear something that offends you, then we are doing our fucking job. So quit crying. Love the Offenders.
Welcome back to another episode of the Offenders podcast. I'm Kyle, and joining me is Evan.
And here I am. And next to me is Shane.
And there I am, over there.
All right,
all
guys.
areas covered.
Good. I'm glad we've got the triumvirate of power going on. So
that's right, the triumvirate of power.
Triumvirate. The living tribunal.
That's right. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Shut your goddamn mouth. I just realized something, by the way.
What?
The living tribunal has a napkin on his head.
He
what
does?
A huge cosmic asshole. Yeah. As each face talks, it turns and it pulls up, and you can see that face.
Yeah, I was going to say, for people out there who don't know who the Living Tribunal is, since he probably hasn't shown up in comics in like 20-something years.
The Infinity Gauntlet, he was in there.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years ago.
I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, it was a long time
roll.
ago. Basically, the Living Tribunal is like one of these things in Marvel Comics who lives out in space, and he's this giant yellow and white dude who flies around. He has 3 faces, but only one of them ever shows because, like, as Shane says, a napkin covers his head that blocks the other 2 out. And so I think he's just like the judge of the universe or something.
Yep, that's what he is.
So
what is it? Good, evil, and meh? Those are 3 faces?
Good, evil, and Congress.
The
Living Tribunal has an approval rating of 5%.
So today, I think we got a couple stories we're going to talk about, personal stories, and then we're going to play a game.
Yes.
So, Evan, why don't you kick it off with your story for the week?
Okay. So I am friends with these 2 sisters. One of the 2 sisters dates a guy I used to be in a band with, who is also a very close personal friend of mine. So, me and these 2 sisters...
All right, first off, are these sisters hot?
Yes, they are very pretty.
Okay. that determines a lot within the story, I just saying.
Yes, they are very pretty. Okay. Much too pretty to be hanging out with a giant hairy ogre like myself.
Okay. So,
me and our other mutual friend have all been hanging out. One of the 2 sisters was singing at a concert, so... the other sister sent me a text message and said, hey, come check out my sister. She's going to be singing. And she told me that our other friend was going to be there. So we all went down there and watched it. It was great. So we're hanging out outside. Everything's good to go. So she goes, well, what do you want to do now? And I said, I know what I want to do. I want to go eat some fucking pancakes. So we went to IHOP. Great plan. So we go and we arrive at IHOP. I order my chocolate chip pancakes. And I get ready to put my blueberry syrup on them. Syrup, excuse me. There's no alcohol in that. Blueberry syrup. So we're hanging out. Everything's going good. About 15, 20 minutes we're hanging out, talking, having fun. All of a sudden, one of the sisters gets a phone call. And she goes, let me out. I got to go. And I said, oh, okay, shit. So she leaves, and the manager walks over to the table. She's like, excuse me. Do y'all know that man who just came in here and said that he had lost his dog and was crawling around on the floor? And I'm like, what? And she goes, I don't know. But your friend sure did go out to talk to him, and I finna call the police. And I'm like, oh, shit. She's trying to be nice to a homeless guy. What the fuck? So we all get up and we run up.
Is that uncommon? Would she not be nice to homeless people normally?
No, she's always nice to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
So there's a possibility that she saw this guy looking for his dog, and she was like, that's so sad. I'm going to help him find his dog, and she ran outside to help him.
That is gigantically a possibility. Yes.
Okay. And so then as a reaction to this, the manager who hates dogs said, fuck him, I'm calling the police on his ass and his little dog too.
If it was a little dog, I would have supported her on that.
Okay.
But actually, we're just like, oh shit, she's helping out a homeless guy. It's like 3 a.m. She's gonna get shot and raped and killed. So
Maybe
we go
not in that order.
Yes.
Or maybe
it depends on if we're talking about the mountain in here or not. And we go outside, and she's with her boyfriend, who is sitting in his car talking to her. And I'm like, oh, it's you. Hey, man.
So is her boyfriend a homeless guy?
No. Well, he sometimes looks like it, but that's just because distressed clothing is very popular these days.
Does he own a dog?
No, he does not.
Okay, so far, everything is incorrect that we thought she was doing.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
So they're out there, and they're kind of huddled together in the car, so I'm like, oh, this must be serious. I will not make any jokes. I will say, hey, and then we all walk back inside. So we're sitting inside, about 5 or 6 minutes passes, and she walks back in with this look on her face like she just saw a ghost. So I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? She's like, he has been in here for the last 10 minutes listening to us talk, hiding under a table. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, he just called me to tell me that he came in here, hid under a table, got caught by the manager, told her that he was looking for his dog, and she said she was going to call the police. And he says, well, come to think of it, I'm going to leave because your service sucks anyway. And he leaves. And then he calls her, go back 5 minutes in this story, and that's the phone call that she got when she ran outside.
Oh
now, given his sense of humor is the kind where he would sneak in, and he would jump out and be like, gotcha, I've been here for 10 minutes. And we'd all go, oh, you fucking asshole. But the fact that he didn't do that and he just left knocked it way up on the creepy scale. And this is coming from a guy who's 32 years old and has 2 wall scrolls over his bed.
Oh, man. Yeah, this guy is a creeper. Does he have like a pencil mustache?
No, he does not.
Okay.
He is always wearing a hat, and he dresses very fashionably. Is that a word? Fashion. He's a very fashionable dresser.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's pretty crazy.
Does he wear a hat because he's bald on top and he doesn't want to admit it to himself or the world?
How can we know? We've never seen him without a hat.
The answer is yes.
That's pretty crazy.
The point is, it's like, number one, if you're in a relationship and you have to do that kind of reconnaissance, you probably have some trust issues.
Yeah, some trust issues.
If I was her, I'd have some trust issues. After that point, like, if everything was fine up until that point, it would not be fine afterwards. Because it's just like, wait, why are you hiding under tables? Making terrible excuses.
Exactly. And given the fucking line about the service was classic, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But still, that's super creepy. And, I mean, it's so funny because as soon as she came back in and told us, we were like, oh fuck, did we say anything at all about him? We were like, no. All we talked about was playing pranks on each other and growing up and falling down.
But now we're going to say things about him because he's fucking crazy.
Now that he's gone, let's all talk about it.
I always feel like when somebody in a relationship's that crazy about somebody else, like to the point where they're stalking them because they don't trust them to be by themselves, it's one of 2 issues. Either one, like you said, they just have some really ridiculous trust issues in general. And I think the part 2 of that is that they may have those issues because they themselves are cheating. And so they don't,
Possibly.
and they're like, well, if I'm doing it, then they must be doing it too. It's the whole idea.
Literally. Ba-doom.
Yeah. It's the whole idea of like, when you hear like politicians talk, like the Republicans are adamant that the Democrats are vote rigging.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are like, no, we're not. And I'm like, well, the reason the Republicans are probably so adamant is that if you look historically, they've had more vote rigging scandals than the Democrats. So they're probably adamant that the Democrats are doing it because they're doing it. They're like, well, if we're doing it, they got to be doing it too.
Exactly.
So it's one of those types of things. So he's probably like, well, if I'm doing it, she's got to be doing it.
And let me say, this is a terrible idea for anybody who thinks that their girlfriend or boyfriend might be cheating on them. Don't do this because, number one, you're going to make, especially if this is a mutual friend, you're going to make that friend all of a sudden say, wow, that person thinks that I would stoop that low to do something like that. And number two, just for me personally, these girls are so far out of my league that it is insulting to him to think that anything like that would ever happen. So, unless he's just trying to give me a gigantic ego, he needs to think that she has better taste.
Well, can I put this out there?
Go right ahead.
There's another guy there with you two, correct? With all of
Yes,
y'all.
that's true, and he does look like Matt Dillon.
I say maybe he thought it was him and her, not you.
I hope so.
There's no way she'd go with that ugly son of a bitch. He's a piece of shit.
That's true, dude. I mean, yes, I can't even argue with that. It's the truth.
Maybe it was like this though. It's like, if there's one thing about Evan is he's a really nice guy. And he doesn't do crazy things. He wouldn't hide under a table and spy on his girlfriend. So I better watch out, because if she wants someone decent, she might go with Evan. Not thinking that not hiding under a table in the first place would not make her think that way. Because it's one of those situations, because he's an anime character. That's what he is.
Exactly.
That's what it sounds. That's like something from the anime. You don't expect real people to do that.
Yeah, this is shit that nobody believes when I tell them, but it fucking really happened. This shit could have been in an anime. It could have been in a sitcom, but it's for real.
Maybe
people
he
really
has an
do shit
inverted
like this.
penis, and he's really,
Maybe so.
and he's just really, it's so like worried about any other man around his woman.
Well, that brings up a funny story.
Oh, snap.
To his previous girlfriend, while at the Renaissance Festival, myself and Mondo were walking around with him, and she turns around holding her cell phone up, and there's a picture of his not inverted appendage.
Oh.
So I can assure you that that is not it. Unfortunately for me to know to say that.
Interesting.
No. Sad.
Well, no, it's just interesting
traumatizing.
that she would just suddenly be like, yo, check out this guy's dick that you're friends with.
Exactly. That's exactly how she handled it. She was like, hey guys, bingo! And we were like, oh, why did you, I don't want to see that.
Actually, the best response would be like, ha 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 ha, look at that baby's penis. And she's like, what? You're like, oh. You said they're a lot larger than that. No matter how big it was, you just say that.
Right.
And now she's like really thinking. You like really fuck with her and ruin the relationship.
Well, since they broke up, I've been thinking about fucking with her. Boom.
Ew.
Hey!
Oh man. Well,
I have one.
You have some really exciting nights.
I have one question about this story.
Yes.
The phones that were used in this calling, were either of them iPhones?
Yes.
Okay, so you were in IHOP and someone was playing I Spy using their iPhone.
Oh man.
That's why he's the co-host, ladies and
I was sitting
gentlemen.
there thinking, where's he going with this?
I was too. I was laughing. I was like, I'm so excited, like Christmas morning.
I'm fucking like CSI and this shit, like in my mind. I'm trying to think of like trying to draw the connections. Where's he going? I can't see this. I can't think like this guy.
And what's your name and how do you spell it?
Oh man. But yeah, regardless, I enjoyed the fuck out of my pancakes. We had a good night, but needless to say, we referenced things under the table about 8,000 times. So the next time you go to IHOP and you're with somebody who may have a significant other, check all the fucking tables.
I'm gonna tell you this too. He's a brave motherfucker to crawl on the floor at an IHOP.
Yeah, right? There's probably like bum, piss, and VD all over the carpet.
I know, right? He might want to check his hands. He might have herpes.
Yeah. Literally, I think peas is one of the side items there.
Oh man. Well,
Now I believe that you have a story as well.
I do. So I got to see the epitome of America this week.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I
Merc.
went to. So I love Barbaritos. I don't know if you know what Barbaritos is, but it's like a southwestern burrito place, kind of like Moe's. And they go in there and they make the burrito for you. I love it. It's delicious. There's one right near my apartment, so I eat there a pretty good bit. And depending on what you get on them, they can be fairly healthy.
Do they sell alcohol there? Is that a clever name, like bar burritos?
No, they don't sell alcohol, which is weird because Moe's does, but they don't. So I don't know. But I go in there, and it's about 6 o'clock, and they're busy. They're always busy. Mm-hmm. And I stand in line, and 2 people in front of me, there's a man, a very large gentleman, sitting in a chair, in line. Not a wheelchair, but like a dining chair from inside of here. Okay. Now, the line's long, and I'm like, he's a little bit older, so maybe he has some kind of problems. But so, whenever the line moves, he doesn't kind of stand up and move the chair along. He grinds the chair along the ground, so it's just like, and like everybody in the restaurant always looks over at him when he does it.
Wow.
And he keeps moving, like, every time. Like, and, like, this line is long. Like, I'm seeing this line for 15 minutes. And so, every time the line is to move, so, finally, he gets up to the counter where they make your burrito. And I'm like, all right, he's going to stand up now because this part moves really quick. No. No, he did not. He sat in that chair. And he ground it along the entire way. Now, not moving, like, facing forward. He's sitting facing the actual, like, burrito making area, and he just, like, sideways scoots his chair right across.
Is he trying to get nose level with the ingredients for freshness sniff or something?
Well, at this moment is when I realized he's never been to this place. Somebody sent him here.
Oh.
And he pulls out a list that has, like, 8 burritos on it he wants them to make.
That's a big list.
Is a big fucking list. And so, like, since he doesn't know how the place works, it's just like, he just reads off everything he wants on it. I want this one with lettuce and tomatoes, and this, like, no, sir, we only do this part at this area, then in the next area we'll do that. And he looks at him confused, like, what? He's like, no, sir, I only just get it prepared and get the meat and rice, and the next place they put the veggies and everything on it. So he's like, But he does that 8 times. So 8 times when he gives the order, he reads everything off, and every time the guy's like, no, sir, they'll get that at the next point.
Holy shit. What a dunce.
Yeah, so finally he's just like, what kind of establishment is this where you just don't take my order? And it's one of those things where it's like really awkward for everybody who's standing there. Like, especially like me, I'm standing almost right behind him. And the older woman standing in front of me, she kind of looks back at me like oh shit, it's about to get real. And I'm just standing there like, whatever. And so the guy behind the counter is like, well, sir, we're going to get it for you, but the next person in line they're the ones who puts everything on there. And he's just like, whatever. So eventually he moves down the line. Scooting the chair. He gets to the place where he goes to pay. And when he finally pays, he gets up out of the chair, walks perfectly fine. Like a fucking Olympic walker or something. Walks out of the chair, just leaves it sitting there in the middle of the line now, and leaves.
Wow.
Fucking America.
Totally.
That's the first thing I thought. I was just like, this guy's American.
Literally, he's that size.
Yeah, really.
I mean, he was a big dude.
So now I'm just imagining that that's actually a service that he does for people. So, he sits there in the chair. Now, that's his own thing, right? But the reason he grinds it across the floor, I noticed he kept making a noise that sounded like, and what that's for is that the people at the counter have 15 minutes to know that he's coming. It's like, there's that asshole. Here comes.
Like a fucking truck.
Any minute he's going to be here. Here he is. Yep, he's a fucking asshole. That was the fucking alarm.
It really was. He might as well just had it tattooed on his forehead.
Now, regardless of all this, I must say that getting 8 burritos for other people is nothing more than a fine form of charity.
Now, we're assuming that he just doesn't understand really well because, he didn't do that work. So maybe those 8 burritos were for him. And he wrote down what he want, you see, because he doesn't have a good memory.
Well, I imagine basically that's maybe. I could just imagine somebody being like, hey, do you think you could go get this order for us at Burritos? And him like, yeah, I could do that. And he gets here and he's like, wait a minute. There ain't no drive-through? I gotta get out of my car?
That's what it was. I'm driving through anyway, fuck it.
Yeah, literally, in his chair.
I love that voice, Kyle. Can we get a little bit more of that? Like, let me be the guy at Bar Burritos. I'm going to be guy number 3 in charge of beans. So I want you to give me the 4th burrito off of your list.
I want to get a fatty with spinach wrap and spinach on it.
Sir,
and...
I'm sorry. This is only the bean line. The guy next to me will handle the chicken.
But I want to get a fatty with chicken and spinach, and let me get some lettuce and tomatoes on that too.
Sir, the tomato is 2 guys down for me. I'm so sorry. You are going to get your lettuce, spinach, tomato, bacon, chicken burrito, but you have to go down the line.
Ain't this one of the Mexican establishments? Don't you do all the work for me?
No, sir. This is a Tex-Mex. So half of our employees are Mexican and half of them are Texican.
So I want to be like guy number like 3 in line, and I want you to give that order one more time.
Okay.
All right, I want to get a fatty.
Too late. Got one.
Did that noise happen when he opened the door?
Nah, when he opened the door, there's just like a collective sigh from the entire building. Like, you know, when you have like the windows open and you open a door to a room and you can feel like when you close the door, like the air rushes out through the window. It's like
Yes.
kind of pressure. It was basically like that. Like he opened the door and he closed it, like the collective being pushed out of everybody as he walked out.
That's because he was so fat that he was actually pushing people's lungs into their bodies. Is what happened.
They escaped from the higher gravity field, and then they expanded.
And you know one thing that's bad is that I'd like almost forgotten about that type of person, like a type of customer at a place, because you don't see that a lot up here because it's mostly college students. And truthfully, amazingly enough, most of them, unless you go to a bar and you're dealing with a bunch of drunk frat guys, most of them are like overly nice to people. Now, I don't know if it's because they're trying to get somebody's pants or trying to get something for free, but they're generally really nice to people. So to come across this son of a bitch, I was just like, what the fuck, man?
Ever since they made me hit one just talking American, this country's gone under the river.
Is it just because the government shut down you can't put burritos on it at this place? You gotta send me down further? Thanks, Obama.
Obama done shut down the government. I can't even order a damn burrito. It's like he has to breathe out when he's saying burrito because all those words have expended his physical capabilities. Burrito. You ever see somebody that's so fat that they sweat when they're eating?
Wow.
The eating sweats. I used to get those as a child because I was quite the plumper back in the day. And now when I see it, I go, he's getting the eating sweats.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like, eating all this food is really getting to me. You're like,
but I'm going to tough it out until the end.
Man, you ain't got no idea how hard it is to eat all this food.
I'm doing this as a sacrifice for the American people.
Eating sweats. Is that like an Olympic sport? Like, you get the eating sweats?
I wouldn't be surprised now that did wrestling get taken out or did they keep it?
It's not, yeah, it got taken out of the next set of Olympics, but then I think the one after it, I think the Japanese one said they were going to add it back in.
Good. Awesome.
That's a strange thing to take out of the Olympics.
Yeah, they've got like fucking that old people game where you, like when you're on a fucking cruise, you got the stick and you
shuffleboard.
They don't have shuffleboard.
You mean curling?
In the winter one, yeah, they have curling, which is basically like ice-based shuffleboard.
Let me just say, curling is when you pick up a fucking barbell, okay?
No,
it's not in the winter.
It's when you're sweeping the floor so the weight can slide well, you know. You don't want a dirty floor. I'm not even lying. That's really what it is.
Wow.
You know what they should do? You know what would make curling interesting? Is if like it was a full contact sport.
God.
So like you got these guys sweeping, and you got the guy like pushing the thing, and the other guy sweeping in front of it, and you got people running up trying to attack them while they're doing it. They're like having to fend them off and like whoop their asses and shit. Now, I would
the
watch
brooms, that would be fantastic.
Dude, he'd be like, remember fucking Road Rash on Sega Genesis? You would like pick up the chains. Dude, let's make this video game right now. That would be so fun.
think of like how many sports though would be like better, like Because truthfully, you know why people watch the Olympics? Because you cannot not watch the Olympics because it's on every goddamn fucking channel for 3 weeks straight when it happens, and all you hear about is like, our guy in underwater basket weaving just got a gold medal. You're like, the fuck is that a sport? Who gives a shit? That ain't a sport. You know what he is outside the Olympics? A fucking weirdo. Nobody cares. You know, I mean, it's one thing like they keep removing things that are legitimately sports from the Olympics, like wrestling. The goddamn Olympics, that was in the original Olympics. You know?
I mean, next thing you know, Randy's going to be the world champion of Pokemon mating.
Well,
actually,
I mean,
they'd have world championships for video games and like card games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
like League of Legends is like...
But they're separate.
Yeah, it's not like in the Olympics. The League of Legends is like getting something on ESPN, like talking about it on one of their sports things because like that game is so huge.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, some of these stupid sports, like
Don't get all choked up about this, Kyle. Take it easy, buddy.
I mean, I gotta hold back, man. I gotta hold back. But like in the Summer Olympics, they have some of these ones like where they synchronized swimming, and basically it's just like water ballet.
Right?
Is that like that's not a sport. That's like a hobby. You know?
I imagine that's really hard, but that's no reason to remove wrestling.
Right?
I don't think it's nearly worth a fucking gold medal, especially how much money and time they put into it. I don't think it is. There are other things that are far greater sports than that, like fucking put MMA or something like that in there. That is a legitimate thing.
Well, you got judo, like Ronda Rousey.
I thought judo was removed years ago.
I want to say it's in there. They just don't show it on television.
And that's what sucks too.
Because I know karate's still in there, or was.
Karate!
Yeah, that's true.
They just never show it. I mean, I remember seeing it one time.
And karate's a pretty full contact sport. And
well, not in the Olympics, it's not.
Well, if we're talking Shokushin, that's full contact. And speaking of full contact, hitting people, making them cry, let's segue right into our Nike game.
I would just like to add that I don't think judo was in the Olympics after 2008.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Actually, I would like to add them to correct myself. I just found it was in the 2012 Olympics.
I thought so.
Real-time updates here.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting in my earbud that I'm a fucking moron. All right. I wonder if that ever happens on actual news shows.
If it does, they do well enough not to let it show on their face when their friends say it in their ear. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle, why don't you refresh the memory of our listeners as to the basis of this Nike game?
Okay, so basically, I've talked about this before on here, but 2 years ago at AWA, or a year ago, something like that. I don't know. Time, fuck it. So, Evan realized, or he pointed out that, hey man, Nike shirts, they have like a saying that like a rapist would say on it.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, and I had to think about it. And then we started seeing the shirts. I was like, oh my God, he's exactly right. I was like, just do it. I mean, the Nike logo itself, just do it. Sounds like something a rapist would say. And then there are some other ones that I remember from, like, Make It, Take It was one I remember and stuff like that. You know, but a lot of these, as you find them, the moment that you hear that thought that these could possibly be something that a rapist says, they all fall into that. And it doesn't help the fact that a lot of Nike's, you know, like, spokesmen or something at one point have been, like, sports stars who have either been arrested or charged or claimed to have supposedly committed sexual assault or harassment of some type. Okay. So with that said, we have a game. Evan, explain the game.
I've taken it upon myself to find a collection of actual Nike shirt sayings. I have mixed them in with things that I believe would be perfect Nike shirt sayings. The thing is, they're so akin to one another, you probably won't be able to tell which is which. So, I will ask Kyle and Shane, which of these two are they? Are they true? Are they false?
Is it Nike or is it a rapist?
Or it possibly could be both.
It's an apist.
That's right. A Rapist. A Riker. Riker's Island just took a completely different... Okay, so
I'm sure
you
there's
guys
rape
ready?
that takes place there, too.
Yes, that thing that fits.
That's not the kind that I want to think... Well, I don't want to think about any of it. What else?
So,
Damn that.
Well, Freudian slip.
Octopus. Whoops a daisy. Tentacle hentai. What am I?
just learned a lot about you there in that statement.
Hey, is that my laundry in the oven? I'll be right back.
I'm going to say this is true.
I was like, what is he talking about? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did own Yorutsuka Doji! Legend of the Overfiend.
He's a karate master, too.
That's right. You shut the fuck up, you son of a bitch. See, the best thing about inside jokes is nobody got that except for Shane because he's an asshole. Okay, so we're going to start.
A fucking asshole?
You son of a bitch.
Go ahead. I'll stop.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Number one, I'm going to tell both of you, and then I'm going to let each of you answer. After you answer, I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Struggle makes it sweeter.
I think that's a real shirt.
Oh,
What about
man.
you, Kyle?
That's tough.
That's what she said.
I don't know. Knowing a lot of rapists as I do, I'm just kidding. I have to agree with Shane. I think that is a real shirt.
Wow.
That's right. That came from the mind of Evan Jones. Amazing. I know it. All right.
There you go. Fail music. Kind of delayed. Wow. Okay. So, damn. All right. I guess the next one.
Number two. Kobe never stops.
I'm going to say that's not.
I'm going to say it is because Kobe Bryant was one of the people I was talking about. So we're mixed on this one.
Yeah.
So
And Kyle is the winner.
Oh, wow.
That is a real Nike shirt.
I didn't think they would put the actual person. I guess they would, though. Okay.
I guess the amount of money they were paying him, they figured they might as well if I could put his name on something.
That's
Right?
true.
Awesome.
Okay.
So I'm 1 and Shane's 0.
1-0.
Okay.
You guys have to keep up with your own fucking score because I have to come up with these shits. Number 3. It's supposed to hurt.
That's probably a real shirt.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that is a real shirt.
You're both right. That is the real shirt.
God, that's so terrible.
I know.
I mean, don't just think about it. Somebody is literally. Well, all right, we'll put it in terms of prison rape because it's easy.
Let's
to
get a
laugh
brass
about
tacks
prison
here.
rape. But imagine like somebody sitting there basically being raped, and this guy yells that out. It's supposed to hurt. That's so fucked up that Nike would put this on a goddamn shirt for people.
I
to
immediately
wear
thought of
around.
people at the gym, and they say shit like that. So
Yep.
That's
Probably
true,
say it in the locker rooms too.
they probably do.
All right.
All right,
Number 4. Crying won't help.
I'm going to say it's not. I hope it's not.
I think that is a shirt. I think that is an actual shirt. I can see
Shane-
that being on a shirt.
Shane, I hate to tell you, man, but you're right.
Okay.
It is not a shirt.
I can see it being on one. Some of those things I remember were terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, I tied it up.
There we
Like
go.
I said, just imagine like them telling, like imagine like they got somebody wearing this Nike shirt somewhere, and the whole premise is like you see the commercial for it, and someone's like working out really hard and just yelling at him, "Crying doesn't help."
Yeah.
You know? All right, so yeah,
All
we're
right.
tied.
Okay. Time for the tiebreaker question. We still got a few to go.
Okay.
Get wet.
Oh.
That's terrible.
I think this one is one because they're probably talking about sweat
Yeah,
from the
man.
workout. I'm going to say it is.
Just imagine the guy comes running out of the bushes.
And you only have a few seconds to get wet or get away because he's going for it.
Yeah, grabs someone, throws it to the ground, and yells, "Get wet!" But
It's
I think
perspiration or penetration. What's it going to be?
Oh, God. I think that's a shirt.
That's a shirt. Oh, man.
I think it is a shirt though.
You're both right. That is definitely a shirt.
Okay.
All right, so we're still tied.
Yep.
I stole your innocence.
No, it's gotta be false. Gotta be false.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's false too because Michael Jackson was never a spokesman for.
Oh, you guys are both right.
Okay.
That one's a bit out there. Like even Nike, I think would be like, "Whow." We're okay being a pseudo rapist, but like straight on child molester, not cool.
Well, it could be prom night. Why's it got to be children? You guys are sick. Bunch of sickos. Speaking of sickos, let's go on to the next rape shirt. You can run, but you can't hide.
That's probably a shirt.
How many do you have left?
This one and 2 more.
So we're tied. I don't know. This one, I'm trying to. Whenever I think of these things, like, is this a Nike shirt? I think, in what context would this be a Nike shirt? Like,
well, I've had a non-Nike shirt that said something similar. It's like I forget what it had. It had a picture of like some animal on the front of it. It'd say stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called anymore, but
was it
it's
a Rapist
possible.
shirt?
It was, yes.
I'm wrong. There's 3 left. I'm sorry. There's 3 left.
Okay. I think this one's probably a shirt too.
Yeah.
And just to refresh my memory, because I completely forgot what shirt we were talking about.
You can run, but you can't hide.
That is a shirt.
I thought
that
so.
is 100% a Nike shirt.
All right, so that is a shirt. Okay, yeah, I could see somebody wearing that.
Okay, we got 3 left. Next one, you're mine.
Ooh,
that also sounds like a shirt. It sounds like a shirt.
I'm
gonna have to say
I'm gonna
it
go
is.
Rapist on this one.
Does that mean that it is or is not a Nike shirt?
Damn it! No,
Is this a Kobe Bryant shirt?
I'm gonna say it's not a Nike shirt.
I'm gonna say it is.
Kyle is right.
Oh wow!
Oh,
It is not a Nike shirt.
You're one ahead.
but Nike, if you're hearing this, we'll sell you the rights to that.
That's right.
Because that fits your shirts well.
They don't call us the offenders for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 left. You can't stop me.
It also sounds like a shirt. I'm gonna have to say it is.
I'm gonna say it's not. That sounds way too rapey. I mean, like even Nike's like
No, it's definitely a shirt.
that.
Shane, you're right. It's definitely a shirt.
Tied again.
Did you hear Kyle's like,
Like they're after him.
he just lost faith in humanity. Oh no! They put that on a t-shirt.
I mean, some of these, it's like, I can't believe they would put that on a shirt. And even worse, I can't believe people would buy it and not think about what it says. Unless they realize what it says and they're okay with it. And that is even more fucked up.
Oh.
Okay, this is the what's the score?
It's tied again.
It's time for the tiebreaker.
Here it comes.
Just did it.
Oh, that one's really hard.
Yeah, literally.
Because that could be a play off their own thing.
Is it Tommy Hilfiger or is it Tommy Gear? Which one is it?
No, I'm gonna say it's a shirt. I'm gonna say it is.
it's not. I'm just going with the opposite of Shane.
Ladies and gentlemen, after much heated debate through the judges, it is my pleasure to say that is a shirt.
I was right.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shade is the winner. Let's get some fanfare music. You got some of that back there?
Yeah, sure. There you go, Shane.
That's right.
The big wiener are you.
A wiener is you. I'm sorry, Kyle. That means that you are error. You are error.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna pull up really quick because I know that one of our fans posted when I first talked about this. She posted on the page a bunch of them, and
Missy,
some of them
right?
were really good. Yeah.
This is a girl. This is not us being creepy. This is a girl that posted this here. So
okay, let's see. Because the thing is that so she posted one that says the one that she talked about says, "I don't stop." Okay, so I was like, no, that can't be real. So I went and looked it up, and it is. But it turns out that there's a guy's one that's like that goes along with it that says "can't stop."
Well, I'd like to take this point in time.
It goes further. There's a
It
unisex
does.
one that says "don't stop. The people are watching."
What the fuck, Nike?
Yeah, it's just like...
I'd like to point out the gender difference in these things. Now, the unisex one just seems like you're an exhibitionist. Mm-hmm. It's okay, I guess, if everybody's consensual. But I will say this. The guy says, I can't stop. He has some kind of condition. He can't help himself. He needs psychiatric help. The girl, she could stop. She just doesn't.
That's mind-blowing,
so
man.
up.
That disease is actually called satyriasis in men.
What?
That disease is called satyriasis, after the satyrs of Greek lore.
You might know them as satyrs.
I do, but I don't... What disease are you talking about? Like, a disease where you...
I think it's
men
a mental...
who have to have sex all time and can't find any real pleasure or love.
It's like a nymphomaniac.
Yes, but it's the male version. Nymphomaniacs are strictly female.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As
a nymph.
Yes,
Oh,
that makes sense then.
Wow.
And if there was going to be a tiebreaker, there was one that I had left that I had. It was Fear the Spear.
Was it a real shirt?
Yeah, it was a real shirt.
What?
Was it a Goldberg shirt?
I wish it was. You're next. It was
wow, that sounds pretty rapey too.
Yeah, wow.
Just imagine some chick getting out of her car late at night. She's just gotten home from work, and she just got some bags of groceries in her hands, and she's walking up to the door. Some dude runs out of the bushes wearing that shirt and yells, "Fear the Spear!" Dude, come on, seriously. Nike.
And then she turns around and takes off her first shirt, and the second one is the men's that says, "Can't stop," and then she charges him. And that's the dream I've been having for the last 3 years.
Wow. That's a messed up dream. You should probably go to a doctor about that.
And then you're both together, and some people walk by, and you both take off your other shirts, and it just says, "Don't stop the people watching."
It's all about the show. That's all it is. We're entertainers.
Wow. That's so messed up.
It is.
So, everybody go out there and buy some Nike shirts.
Yes.
And again, just
Nike,
for the
proud
record.
sponsors of the Offenders podcast.
Yeah, right. They better give us some fucking running shoes for this shit.
Now
And proud sponsors of rape.
Now, once
give out some
again,
condoms.
I suspect that like someone's going to hear this and take it completely seriously, and it's going to be this big campaign against Nike.
And it's true, which is why I'm here to speak on behalf of Adidas. As soon as I can find this shit on my fucking phone, because Adidas is taking a stand, as I have mentioned previously. Just to remind everybody, it says, where the fuck is it? It says, "Do you, I'ma do me." And that's about taking care of the self, not forcing your will upon others.
Yeah.
I just get a box of tissues and take care of it.
That's right.
Exactly. So Adidas are proud sponsors of masturbation.
Yes.
That's right. Do you, I'ma do me.
That's legit.
It is. Adidas is taking a stand against the rape bastard giants at Nike. Well, they're not bastards. They probably have legitimate fathers. I can't even use that as an insult anymore. I'm sorry, Jon Snow.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
And I'd just like you to notice that in my phone, you can't see this, but I'll show Shane. It says, "Do you, I'ma do me." Mm-hmm. And then you scroll over, and it's my collection of Ninja Girls manga that is on the bookshelf that I had to take a picture of to send to somebody.
So,
Are those two related?
Possibly.
Because there's a possible mistake. Well, we've read far enough before you won't make that mistake. But there's a possible mistake in that book. You shouldn't use that book for that use.
That's true. that's you got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
In that series.
I like to think that when you came up with all these like sayings, Evan, like you first Googled like Nike shirts, so you've got all these rape sayings and rape T-shirts that pop up in your Google history on your phone, and then you're struggling to come up with something. So you're like, well, I'll just Google rape sayings, and you Google that. So it's like if you ever get pulled over, they search your phone, and for all that, they're gonna be like, "Sir, we got to ask you some questions. You need to come downtown."
No, of course I did that at home.
Of course, I did it on my work computer, guy. God.
That's right. Come on. I want to make sure that everybody sees exactly what I'm looking up, so they'll leave me alone.
Oh, all right. So one last story before we end. This is just a short one. So the other day, I'm sitting in the lab that I tutor for, and they just had a test last week, so no one came in. So it's just me chilling there, and I didn't want to like start doing any kind of reading for research or anything because I just didn't have the time. So I was like, well, I'll just read the news. And one of the news articles I saw was about talking about how Kanye West went and bought some crazy, super expensive, like armored vehicle from this like company over in Europe that makes armored like SUVs. And one of the things that caught me was that this company did the interior of their vehicles with the leather that came from whale foreskins.
What?
That's what I said. And I was like, that can't be legit. So, while on the school computer, that's only the one that, like, an employee can access, I type in, vehicles made with whale skin penis in Google. And I'm not thinking about it. And then, like, I can't find it. But, like, I see it popping up talking about it. And then I kind of realized that, like, what I just Googled, I'm like, close it out, shut down the computer, stop looking at shit today. I just get myself in trouble.
That's amazing, Kyle.
There's no better ride than whale dick, I'll tell you.
Dude, you know what's the worst? When you're at work and you try to do a fucking Google image search, and you mean it with the purest of innocence. You type in something like fucking The Adventure of Milo and Otis, because you want to get a picture of a cat and a dog. You go down 3 rows and there's some titties or a dick somewhere in that fucking search result. And you're like, oh god, I gotta delete everything from my fucking history.
Yeah. But that's kind of what happened. I was just like, oh, damn it. I was like, not like they ever look at this or anything like that, because it's a known fact that several of the professors have been found with pornography on their computers anyway, so I'm pretty sure that I would get off pretty light compared to anybody else with if they found that in a search history for what I'd done. But still, just
because those professors probably get off pretty heavy if they got porn on.
Well, I will say this. From a story I heard last night while we were out heavily drinking, the former IT guy used to wear gloves when he went to check one professor's computer because he said it was the most disgusting thing he had ever touched, and that no computer keyboard should be that sticky.
Oh, man.
Yes. So, with that, I think that should end the Offenders podcast this week. So,
and really, this has actually been in a public service announcement from the Offenders. Don't wear fucking Nike clothes, or we're going to think that you're a rapist. I'm just putting that out there.
And if you wear Adidas, we'll just think you masturbate a lot. And we're down with that.
Yes.
But if you have anything that you would like us to talk about, or questions you would like us to ask, or questions you'd like to ask us, or things you'd like to show to us so we can be like, holy shit, that's fucked up, let's talk about it, you can email us at theoffenderspodcast@gmail.com. Offenderspodcast@gmail.com. All right.
Why did you say that twice?
Because I always just say it twice. Just not thinking about it.
Oh, wow. It's like that, what was the guy's name? Rich from UFC. He was like, Joel Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, I just do it just out of habit. So, probably because I'm used to repeating myself in class.
Nice.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Yo, wait. Why does your professor have to look up pornography? There's like the highest percentage of yoga pants in all of Georgia in your city.
Oh, this is not going to end.
I'm putting you on to answer my question, Kyle. You are the representative.
Without really getting a lot into it, this professor is known for having proclivities for Asian females, like to the point where it's like disturbing.
I like your style, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't
proclivities.
know if you like his style.
If I had 50 cents, I'd give that to you for that word.
It's a good word.
It is a good word.
But so yeah, and so he's just a general kind of creepy guy.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, not really. He's just weird.
Well, there's always weird people out there, and they're probably listening to our podcast right now, so we don't think you're weird.
True.
Kyle does, but I don't. Shane might. Who knows? We're the
All right.
living tribunal. One of us will think you're okay, one of us will think you're a dick, and one of us won't care.
That's fantastic.
That being said, that's the end of this podcast.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Evan.
And I can't stop.
Y'all have a good one.
Good night.